guys, Mitch here from On The Move, doing our Tech Tip Tuesdays. So back into it now. I do apologise for last week. Did have a couple of little personal things going on, but disregard. It's all good, all sorted, all fine. So thank you for bearing with me last week. Now, this week we are going to go a little bit more in depth to the Renogy power system. This power system is actually being covered a lot more in our later models. So things like our Adventures, our Grenades, Crossfires, and a couple more that are in the works that I can't say too much about. But stay tuned for those, because we will release a little bit more about those soon. So get excited, there are some new things coming. Now, the Renogy power system, people have seen it before, some people may have it already, but we're just going to go over what things are, what things do, as well as a couple of little tips and tricks. And we're even going to jump up on the roof today and show you the solar configuration as well, so you guys understand what's going on, where to look for things, and take it from there. So first things first, as most of us would be familiar, every van that we have with the Renogy system will have at least a core system. So the core screen is actually the brains of everything that gets all the information pulled from multiple different sources, from our smart distribution box, solar controllers, inverter, everything like that, all gets displayed on this magical one here. So every one of our vans that has Renogy in it will have the Renogy core screen. Some of our Black Edition models will actually have the Vision screen, which is a 7-inch touchscreen that Renogy make, that we've done to that, as well as some of our other, again, upcoming models that I can't say too much about, will also have the Vision screen. But we'll see if we can find a Vision screen and we'll show you that as well. At the moment, we're just going to focus on the core screen and the components that are in every van at minimum. So as mentioned, we have our Renogy core screen here. So our home screen is nice and simple. It gives you all the information that we possibly need just at a quick glance. So we have our state of charge, how long we're remaining. If we're, at the moment we're in the workshop, so we're not exactly in a whole heap of sunlight. So that's saying in the current state where we are, we've got 39 hours remaining. So that is awesome. We've got our ambient and equipment temperatures and our water tanks. Nice and easy, show you all the details down there. Down the bottom we have our different menu options here. Our home button, which obviously shows us our details there of what's going on. Next one, which shows our pre-programmed scenes. Honestly, don't worry about that one. Just forget it even exists. Under the next one, we have our devices. So if I can get this to focus. So this is where we have things like our DC-DC, our smart distribution box, control panel, batteries, inverter. If we've got additional solar controllers for those that have the upgraded solar options, then they'll all be displayed in there as well. So that is where every single device that is linked in your caravan for your Renogy system will be displayed. You can see the details a little bit more in depth there, what's actually being produced, what's actually being drawn. There's a whole bunch of information on there that you can actually use, which is really cool. Last one as well, our system settings one there. So that's where we have, I do apologise for the sounds that we have in the workshop. It is an active workshop. So we haven't configured this one yet because it still is in the workshop, but we've got our Renogy display system there, so we're just going to set our scene. And this is where our leveling is. So at the moment we haven't exactly, we haven't configured it and calibrated it yet to show where level is. Honestly, if it hasn't been done or needs a recalibration, it's a very, very straight, simple process. All you need is a physical spirit level. Just that way you can make sure that the van is level both east and west, left to right, as well as north, south, front to back. Make sure it's level both ways, and it's just a quick calibration, which I'll show you again how to do. So it's just, once we're up onto this one, once it is level, just in that top right hand corner, which is that settings tab there, level calibration. It's nice and easy. I'm not level at the moment, but I can always re-level this later. I'm just going to hit calibrate. Whoop, when my fat fingers want to do it. There we go. Calibrating, do not move. Hold your breath. There we go. So it's leveled everything out there. So that way, we're at the level. Like I said, I'm not level at the moment. This is once you've got it level both north, south, and east, west. That way you know, hey, you're sweet, you're level. You just have a quick reference guide on that and you know whether you need to drop, raise, left, right, etc. So that's where all that is there. Other thing that we have as well in our settings, which is our system. It's where our network information is, date and time, unit, so temperature, we can just change that nice and easy there if we ever need to. Pairing with our app. Now one thing I really want to take note here is if the system ever becomes unresponsive and you need to restart the system, there is restart, but annoyingly there is reset just underneath. We want to make sure that we are pressing restart, not reset. Restarting the system just gets it shut down, refired back up, make sure it's all sweet. Sometimes, you know how you just need to turn your phone off and on every now and then. Yep, it's, you know, it's an electronic device at the end of the day. It all needs to happen regardless. So restart it. Resetting it has the potential of wiping the programming behind the scenes. So there's quite a lot of programming behind the scenes, especially with our home and away buttons. So on our control panel we have home, away, and a couple of other things. Now when you press home, it actually has back-end programming that turns on about 4 or 5 different channels. That way things are ready to go just straight away in your home and away function. So that is on our control panel. Nice and easy, so home and away. Now, I want to add that home and away, I keep changing this thing back and forth, home and away. Now, there is a lot of people saying, you know, a whole bunch of different stuff online. You know, wherever you hear it, you're going to hear it straight from the horse's mouth here. Home and away. Only use the home and away functions when you are set up, so disconnected from your car. When you press away, it turns off everything in the van apart from the fridge and USB points. The issue with that is that it will also turn off the power to your reverse camera. So you need to be careful on that. When you hook up and you're towing your van, you still need to leave it on home. You can turn off all your other sort of all your other switches if you're not using them, like your lights and everything like that, but just leave it on home. The only time we're using home, like away really, is when you're set up at camp or you're at home and you're going to go spend the day out somewhere, you're going to go for a walk or go for a drive or something like that. Then you press away, because all that does is it minimizes the loads in the van, gives the solar the best opportunity it can to charge everything with the minimal amount of draw possible, while still making sure your fridge is running and USB points are running. That way, if you need to charge devices, it's still charging those devices while you're away. So they're the main things there. Home and away only used when you are actually set up at camp or at home. Get into the habit. If you're attached to your car, don't press away. If you know, unattached, detached, whatever the word is there, if you're not connected to it, then home and away is fine. Yeehaw. All right, our electrical cabinet. We are on the Adventure just because it is a little bit easier to walk through. So we have our smart distribution box here. So that's with Renogy, smart distribution box. Our Renogy DC-DC and MPPT controller. Don't worry, the red light on your solar and your alternator, they are meant to be red. Renogy chose red, that's the color there that they want to do. So if you see red, don't freak out. I know red usually means bad. In this case, it just means it's working as it should. Below that, we have our inverter charger. So this thing is, yeah, will both convert your DC 12 volt to 240 usable in your power points. So I mentioned it before in some off-grid ones on recommendations for off-grid. Only turn your inverter on when you need to use your power points. If you're not using your power points, turn it off. It will make sure that you keep your battery as high as it can for as long as it can. As soon as you turn that fella on, it can be quite a heavy draw appliance. Making sure, you know, you got your fridge off, obviously. You don't want to be running your fridge every time you turn your inverter on because it is heavy draw. But it just minimizes. Again, it's just about minimizing your loads and maximizing your production. So that's in there. Now, you've got the option in these of a 3000 watt inverter or a 2000 watt inverter. Black editions will come standard with a 3000 watt. At minimum, the 2000 and the 3000 will both produce over 100 amp of charge. So that's pretty cool, 100 amp of charge compared to our generation 1, which was the projector system, which did about 35 amp of charge. So it's a huge step up there, which is unreal. The 3000 watts can actually be programmed up to 150 amps of charge. So that is a huge charge rate to really get those batteries going. A little bit of a drawback is some places, depending on what power they have available, sometimes 150 amp is too much and will actually like cause what we call nuisance tripping, and will actually trip the building. Or the supply that you're plugged into might be too much for your generator to run. So they're normally programmed at 100. They come standard program at 100. It seems to be that happy medium. But on the 3000s, we can actually step up and run those at 150 amp charge, which is really cool. So we're going to go back. On the front here, we have our safety switch. So that's our output safety switch. So for our outlets and everything like that. Battery isolation switches for our 12 volt and our inverter. Cooling fan, just helps to keep everything cool. And just our bus bars. Relatively simple there. Additional fuses up there. And yeah, we have all our fusing up here. So we pop that little fella there. Behind here, you actually have a fuse puller, which is really, really handy because if you're like me and you can't get my fingers in there to actually try and pull a fuse, they do actually come with a little fuse puller. You can just stand by. Try to do that with one hand. So yeah, they're kind of like a little pair of tongs, and yeah, they just kind of pinch on there, which is really cool, and then you can pull him out. There you go. Sweet. Well, it's a bit easy to kind of put him in when without it, but pulling them can be a little bit of a pain, like any fuse. So there we go. We'll put him back in where it lives. So that's him there. Now, something to remember that if there's an issue with one of the 12 volt fuses and it's the Renogy system will actually say, hey, you know, system overload or channel overload. What it will actually do is it will, in theory, lock out that channel until the fuse has been inspected. So if you find that, hey, it's popping up with a thing saying you've had an overload on one of the circuits, you'll need to go to that channel, remove the fuse and inspect it. It's a safety feature that Renogy have put in place, and then reinstall it. It may just be that it was a temporary peak, didn't actually blow the fuse, but it still needs to be pulled out and put back in before it'll unlock that channel to be able to re-energize. So keep that in mind there. I'll put that all back together, so that's all right. But yes, smart distribution controlling our 12 volt loads. We do have these labeled, which is quite nice. So it's a little bit easy to find things. Yeah, battery channels 9 through 12, which are our 20 amp supplies, and 1 through 8, which is our 10 amp supplies there. Temperature sensors, communications all behind there, water tank sensors, and those aren't utilized, which is nice and easy. So in our 400 watt plus the 140 watt rear wing configuration, the Renogy 50 amp DC-DC MPPT is utilized alone for that system. So everything's capable of handling through that. Whereas on our 800 watt systems, plus the 140, so 940 technically, they will run an additional solar controller, which is a 60 amp controller, which will handle the 800, so the 4 200 watt panels on the roof, and then the 140 on the rear will actually go through that DC-DC. So in the 800 configuration, sorry, I keep saying the 800, it's the 940. Sorry, the GoPro turned off because it got too hot. You know we're in Queensland during a heat wave when it does that. But yeah, the 940 configuration is broken up between two. The 540 just goes through one. So I'm just stepping outside now. As mentioned, I'm going to climb up a ladder and we're actually going to have a look at the solar configurations on this. So up on the roof here, we've got, this is our 540 watt configuration. Sorry, technical difficulties. The GoPro's actually overheated because we're at a heat wave at the moment. It's nice and hot. So it's just in the fridge, so stand by, give me a sec. Alrighty, I'm back. I've pulled it out of the freezer. We seem to be rocking and rolling, so I'll jump back up. Let's have a look at the solar. So yeah, sorry about that one, but we'll get back into it now. So this is our 540 watt configuration. So it's broken into 100 watt, 100 watt, 100 watt, 100 watt. So 4 by 100 watts. And on the rear wing there, we have another 140 watt panel. So giving us a total of 540 watts on the roof. In our 800 plus the 140, obviously these 100s get swapped out to 200s and then broken into that second string there. So in this configuration, it's one string. So the 540 is what we call one string. because they're all connected together going to one point. Whereas the 800 configuration, I keep saying 800, 940 configuration is broken into 2 strings. The 4 by 200 watts to 1 string. The second string is just the 140 watt panel there. So that way you've got a secondary controller. So that way if something does happen, you're not losing all of your solar. You'll at least have one of the 2 working. Our black editions that do have the solar awning actually have 4 strings because they're broken up into 4 with 4 different solar controllers. So there's a lot that goes on behind there, but everything's relatively straightforward in the grand scheme of things. So that's that there. So that's the overview. I'm just going to climb back down now, so bear with me. So that's the overview there of the electrical system that is in our adventure systems, grenades, crossfires and future models. So it is Renogy through and through, from production of capture to transfer of energy as well as storage. We are running the Renogy batteries as well. So depending on which model you get, we'll either run the Renogy 200 core minis, the 200 lithium pros, or the 400 amp Rego pros as well. And those things are a beast of a battery. But yeah, that's where it is. That's how they are. Battery box down there, which is nice and accessible. Some of them will have an additional battery box mounted up underneath. And then, yeah, that's our Renogy system as a quick overview, guys. So the black editions are slightly different with that Renogy vision screen, but all in all, that is the main concept that we need to see there. That Renogy core screen is going to be where we're going to see a lot of our production, where our drawers are, home and away functions, everything like that. So it's all there, relatively easy, straightforward. If you've got any issues with your Renogy system, reach out to your selling dealer. All right, I was just wrapping up. GoPro died again, it's too hot. But yeah, that's our Renogy system, guys. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you've learned a little bit more about it and what we do. A little bit more about the system, how it's broken up, what things do as well. Like I said before, if it didn't cut out, if you've got questions, queries, concerns, anything like that, reach out to your selling dealer, reach out to us, and we'll hopefully be able to point us in the right direction. So besides that, have a good one, guys. We'll see you in the next one.